hello, how are we? It's been a while since the last one of these. Let's just get all of this organized. There we go. I'm just posting on Instagram to say that I'm live because, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's been a year, maybe 9 months, something like that. Let me just put the link to my channel onto Instagram. So we are /@EmmaRosenBooks. Okay, done. Post. Cool. So I don't know whether anyone's going to join today because obviously it's been a little while. And I haven't massively publicized this other than I've kind of said maybe I would do it. And I think I put this live stream, like the word schedule. I scheduled this a couple of days ago so that people could see it would be up and coming. But it's one of those, it's like, are you served it by the algorithm and all of that? And I know that it takes a little while doing these things for people to know that they're on, make sure that they're here and all of that stuff. Anyway, if you are joining not live, I know that when I was doing these live streams before, there were people who were watching these after the time. That's still awesome. You know, for me, the thing about these writings and these lives, first of all, is that I'm going to close my emails. The thing about these is that I feel like it gives you that accountability. It's that, you know, sit down and do the work moment. And I think it's such a nice way to start the week. I feel like knowing that you did an hour's worth of writing on a Monday just feels like a great start to the week. And the fact that you are hanging out with somebody else and some other people who are in the comments and stuff like that, I think it just feels like it's that accountability and it's a bit of company. I think that for certain people and certain brains, that's really helpful. And I certainly find it really helpful to be on here live and having to do the work, you know. I am planning this morning to work on my book for authors, which I would like to have out at some point this year. I am also working on a children's book, one children's book in particular, but I'm in the research phase for that. So I'm not going to be working on writing that today. So yeah, I shall work on my book for authors. And at the moment, because I'm not teaching, I am really keen to just maximize the amount of time that I'm spending being creative. So even if I'm not working on sort of the new project and my brain needs a break with something else, I'm really keen to sort of keep working on other things and have various things on the go that are in different phases. Because sometimes you're in the mood for research and sometimes you're in the mood for writing and sometimes editing and sometimes publishing. So having various things going on can be helpful. Obviously, the most pressing thing is the children's book, but the research on that will start tomorrow. As I think I've said on here before, Mondays for me, I do some volunteer work on a Monday. So for me, this is a half day of writing. And for that reason, I mean, it means that I always know that I'm here in the morning, which means that I can schedule these writing sprints. But also it means that there's only so much I can get my head into a project. So yeah, this isn't the day to start the new project. Tomorrow is. Today is all about just getting back into the swing of things for me. As always, I would love to know what you're working on, whether you're joining live or whether you are joining not live. If you're watching this later, still leave me a comment. Let me know, what are you working on? What are you working on this year? What are your goals? I should have said Happy New Year, right? So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to get into it. So I am just going to put a banner up. Now, I would normally put like writing sprint. I'm going to do 3 lots of 20 minutes, by the way. Ordinarily, I would do 15, but I changed it to 20 so that we just have. So what I was doing was 3 lots of 15 minutes with the 5-minute breaks. And then that meant it was an hour for like in terms of the live. But now I'm going to do 20 minutes of writing with breaks. Sorry, an hour of writing. So 3 lots of 20 minutes. I didn't explain that very well. Anyway, I'm going to say writing sprint for 20 minutes, which is going to take us up to So we will be, what are we, 9:35, it will be 9:36 probably. So we're going to go 20 minutes on that. That's 9:56. Because then if people are joining, they can see what we're doing and how long we're doing it for. I need to get around to getting like a little timer so that I can have a timer. I can't, unless I've got a paid plan, I can't like put a live timer, but I could put an actual like physical timer. I don't know if that would be annoying and if it'd look good, but anyway, I'm just going to put a banner up that says how long we are running for. So as always, I'll put the banner up. I will set myself a timer and be listening to music and working away. And as I say, whether you are joining live or you are not joining live, I would still love to know what you're up to. And I hope it is still really helpful to say we'll do 3 lots of this. Right, okay, so I am going to put that up and I will speak to you soon. All right, let's take a break. Awesome. How did you get on? Let me know what you got written. I have written, let me have a look. Bit of a section. Oh, and that is my alarm. Hold on, I'm going to mute while I talk to you know who. Sorry, I don't want to set off all of your smart speakers as I talk to it. Yeah, so I have written, let me see how many words. Not that it's about words, really. 568 words. The main thing really is turning up. I think that if you schedule your time as writing time, even if you just sort of sit there and think and look over stuff, it's still time well spent. If you don't make the time, it's so easy to just procrastinate, not do it, you know. So I think it's really good to just make sure that you schedule it and you show up. But yeah, 568 words, that's great for 20 minutes of writing. This current project, or I mean, I'm working on several. This is, I think it's going to be really useful. It's looking more at selling books. I already have a guide to self-publishing, which goes through sort of the process of getting your book ready and publishing it. And I wanted to do a guide for them what to do after that, how to actually sell books. So that's what this one will be. And I'm really liking how it's shaped up to be. I don't know if any of you saw that I took a phone call during that. My doctor called for to ask me to come in for another blood test. I may as well tell you because it's the world's weirdest blood test. I have an apparent allergy to bananas and maybe other things. It's like I contacted the doctor and basically said, I've just noticed that I seem to sort of react when I eat bananas. I thought I should mention it because I don't know if that's something that I ought to test in case it gets worse because it's a thing that has appeared, and also whether there might be like other things allied to it that I might need to know about. And they were like, oh my goodness, let's get this tested. I was like, really? It's not that urgent, but okay. So I had a blood test to look at that, and then they've just called and said they want to do another blood test. So fine. But yeah, I may be making a video at some point in the future going, hey, I'm allergic to bananas, or whatever it is they find out. Hopefully it's just something very innocuous like that. I think if you have allergies, as somebody, so when I was little, I had a milk allergy, and fortunately I grew out of that. It was not, I have to be careful when I say milk allergy, it was probably a protein allergy. It wasn't a like like anaphylactic type of allergy. It was probably something like CMPA. And I grew out of it, and I have no problem with dairy now. But I am aware that allergies can appear and escalate, and also that allergies can be like your body can react to proteins that are similar to one another. And I have hay fever already, and I react to various things. I have like quite sensitive skin. So I think it's just worth knowing because these things can get worse or they can disappear. I think, like with anything, if you have a health issue that's concerning you, it's always worth just double checking, just to sort of be on top of these things because you just never know. So anyway, that was what that phone call was. It was the doctor asking me to come in tomorrow to have another blood test. I don't mind blood tests. I'm all right with them. I know that some people, they really worry about it. I'm not somebody that's particularly fussed by anything medical, particularly. Used to be very scared of the dentist. However, I have pretty much been cured of that. I made a video about that as well, I think, at some point. What am I talking about? Should we do some more writing? So I'm going to look in my banners and I'm going to edit the banner. So what were we? We were, so if it's 10 o'clock now and we're doing another 20 minutes, if I do it until 10:21, 20 minutes is, I'm vibing better with 20 minutes than 15 minutes. I feel like I actually get some stuff done. So I think that's a good way to go from here on in. It's just doing these 3 20-minute sprints. Then after 20 minutes, I'll be back to chat to you. Do let me know if you want different kind of timings. I'm quite happy to change things up. So let's put that one up like that. And I'll mute myself. I will speak to you again in 20 minutes. All right, that was another 20 minutes. How much have I written? Overall now, about 1,050 words, I think, thereabouts in different sections. I actually think so this book is in 3 sections, and I think I've finished the first and second sections, although both of them I want to edit and expand a little bit. I find that when I edit, I need to be able to talk to myself. Is anyone else like this? I need to be able to read out sentences, and so it's not something I can do live. So yeah, if I want to go over what I've already written, that's a thing that I need to do. So I've got one more section which I actually haven't started at all. The other 2 sections were kind of finished and just had some little bits that I needed to sort out. So yeah, final section of this book, which is a hefty section actually, but at the moment the book's at 11,000 words, considering I've done like 2/3 of it, but the final section is going to be a big section. I think that once I've sort of fleshed everything out, this might be about a 50,000 word book thereabouts. It's going to be a little skinny one, that's fine. As long as it does what it needs to do, it doesn't matter how long it is. The fact is the information is in there. And what I want to do is that when this book is ready, I want to do a little bit of a rebrand of my self-publishing book, because I've got some ideas about bringing the covers into line, because I would like the cover of self-publishing to have a bit of colour on it. I designed that cover myself, and I needed to do that at the time. So the artwork is not designed by me. I commissioned some work from an artist called Steve Turner, or Squidoodle, he's called online. And then I built the cover from his illustrations and text. But I find that, so it's a white cover, which what I wanted is black and white, but it looks weird online because when it's listed on a white website, it doesn't look very good. So I want to do something with it, and I might add some splashes of colour around the edges just to make it stand out a bit better. But I want to work with the designer to do that. So what I'm going to do is do the second one like that, and then bring the first one into line so that everything just looks quite cohesive. So that would be exciting, and then there'll be like a new and improved series, which I think would be pretty cool. So at some point this year, I want to get that done, but there's no rush for that. I'll just keep tapping away at it. It's a nice kind of low brain power writing thing to do, because I find nonfiction like that. I'm just writing down things that I know. And then all I need to do is then make that kind of work and flow and have all of the information that I want. Particularly as this particular book is something where I don't need to do a lot of research. Research is obviously what takes the time. This is more kind of, this is how you do the things. So that's a whole different process. Anyway, I think next week I'm most likely to be writing to be writing the children's book and kind of playing with that, which won't be a word count thing. That's more of a playing with words thing. But we shall see how things progress. I never really know kind of what I might be working on one week to another. So we've got another 20 minutes left to make the full hour of writing, and I'll do these writing sprints for a few weeks. It always takes a couple of weeks for people to know that they're on and kind of make a space in their calendar for them and see whether this is something that's wanted. I did have a few people say that it would be useful, so we'll see if this sort of gets back to being a space where people can drop in, and if typically it's not wanted, that's cool, and I will I'll not do them. I'm kind of open to whatever. If it's helpful, then I'll do it, because I would be writing anyway. So let's do another writing sprint, and I need to change the time of that. Let's turn that off. Wow, what am I doing? Pressing buttons like crazy. Edit. Off. Edit. There we go. We will go through to 10:46, and then we'll have a little chat before we finish up. So I will pop that up, put myself on mute as usual, and yeah, we'll have a final little chit chat before I go this morning. Okay, let's go.